Yes. Okay. Is the microphone working?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
You who are online?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
They're muted. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to start out by saying this stay here with you guys has been a wonderful blessing for me. You really have touched my heart as individuals and as a group. And thank you, all of you. And I really look forward to continuing to work with you, even when I'm not here through the classes online. And I will come back. I'm planning, hopefully, to come 3 times in 2023. And Chris will hopefully come 2 or 3 times, and we can work as a team. So we're aiming to help you all to create a stable, thriving community here with energy that flows. And talking about flow, it has occurred to me that the topic in healing that's really important that we haven't really explored and dug into is what are the aspects of the physical world, the physical dimension, the creation that is still going on in divine mind, in the mind of God, who is not a person, who is every person and every tree and every bird and every ant, every creature, every rock. It's all God. So there's 2 aspects that we are here to both learn to appreciate as expressions of divinity. One is matter, substance, molecules, stuff, energy, space. That, that's not something that we want to necessarily get out of. We're here to really appreciate it, to learn to love it, and also to learn that it's not all there is. That we're here also as, aliens from spirit. We are spiritual beings who have applied for at some point, wanted, asked for. That's how we make things happen. We ask for them, an opportunity to inhabit a physical body, which is our vehicle in this environment, in this beautiful material world, which in Unity, we call the third dimension. But that's just a fancy term for being alive in the physical, in this plane of existence, which is really the playground of spirit. And in this body that we have each been given, we get to play right along with spirit. We have the opportunity to make a dent in it, make an impression on it, to help make the whole perfect idea reach its perfection. That's who we are, why we're here. And it's really, if we allow ourselves, it's really awesome to experience in a physical body what matter is all about, matter and energy. I mean, everything is both, it's a combination of matter and energy. And although we can't perceive it, everything that's holding us up, the chair, the floor, the earth, everything's vibrating. It's not solid, but it's manifesting solidity because we need it to be solid in the physical dimension. That is the magic of the third dimension. That's the magic of creation. That in our beingness, our spiritual beingness, we have the opportunity to do an internship, if you will, as an alien on Earth and pretend like we really belong here and know that we're here by the grace of God. Spirit asked us, allowed us, invited us to come and help out. And as humans, the amazing thing, metaphysical thing about creation is that human awareness is, as far as we know, the primary awareness that is created to live in both the physical and the spiritual, and to experience both of them together and to know them as one. Now, this is a kind of a challenge for our physical brains to think, okay, this stuff isn't the way I'm seeing it. I can use it any way I want. I can play with it. I can create with it. I can make a wonderful video game. That's what my grandson's into, making video games. Okay, that's my creation. My joy of creating has always been bringing people together in communities and helping those communities to become caring and united and energetically free. That's my individual disposition, if you will. We all have a mission here, we can call it, a way to be helpful, a way to express love. And every one of us, it's individual. I mean, think about that. In the physical world, you can't conceptualize it. It's too much. But in spirit, it's all one. And it's beautiful. And when we put ourselves into higher spiritual awareness, that's what we see. That's what we know. And so our skill set here in our body, is first of all, how to get along here, how to survive, how to be able to move, be able to eat, be able to sing, be able to run or not. I mean, some of us do all of those things better than others, but they're all possible in the perfect picture of a human being. So even if we're not particularly nimble in our bodies, even if our bodies are not agile, our minds can be, our imaginations can be, our desires can be. And those are us. Our body is not us. That's a really important realization to learn. And it takes some practice and some hearing and some thinking, what? You're kidding me. And some more thinking and some trying it out, right? You can all remember trying things out like that, trying out that idea. Really? Well, all you can do is try it out and see. So this physical gift, this physical experience can be and needs to be, is supposed to be joy, play, fun. I've actually come to a point in my life where I believe that. It's taken me a long time, and I've been blessed. I've had a long time. And so I've finally come to the point where I don't say yes to things unless I think, is that going to be fun? And if it is, okay, I'm all in. And if it's not, I think, yeah, I don't need that. And that has worked fabulously. Is it going to be fun? Because the Creator that made us loves us as its own self, as its own expression. Why would it make us and then make us suffer? Why? I don't think it did. And as I explore this unity teaching, I find that it works. It works quite amazingly well. Wow, all the time that I thought that to be good, I needed to suffer. I can give that up, that idea up, really easily when I think about, the other idea, but the idea that I like better. And we were made with a sense, an inner sense of, yeah, this is good, this is right. I am in the right place at the right time. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that is absolutely believable, that inner sense. And so is the other opposite inner sense that says, yeah, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel good. You've had those senses too, right?
Hmm.
For a long time, I didn't believe any of it. I'm like, no way. I know what's right, and I'm going to do what I know. It didn't work very well. And the reason, simply in metaphysical terms, was I'm not a single, isolated power. I'm an expression of spirit. Every part of creation is one expression of spirit. So if I take myself and I say, I know better, I'm going to do it my way, which I've done often enough in my life, starting very early. Okay, spirit doesn't knock you upside the head when you take yourself off and do your own little personal snit. It says, okay, see what it feels like. And what I learned was, okay, as long as I'm doing that and I am making my own way and being my own independent self, no matter what other people think, need, want, I know the right way. It gets painful. And the pain goes on and it kind of ramps up. And I have, as a result, experienced a few times, as I'm sure you all recognize this, a point where you say, I haven't got anything else to lose. You know, this is horrible. And then the same thought, the same idea, the same inspiration that I have many times said, no, I don't want to do that now, comes back. These things don't go away. Spirit doesn't go away. And I've thought about it, and I've thought, it can't be any worse than what's going on now. What would happen if I said, yes? And then the sun comes out, the pain goes away, and my life feels amazing because I said, yes, I stopped resisting. It's very interesting what we learn along the way about how to enjoy being in this physical world. Resistance is painful. Acceptance and trust feel wonderful. I know that sounds so simple as to be, not possible, but I am here to tell you that's what happens. And I know that, hola.
It's not Rosemary, it's the lamp.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Lamp.
Sorry about that. It's good.
Oh, la, la.
It's good. It leans. Thank you, Sandra.
Yes.
First responder.
Yeah, it is fun. So that aspect of matter, physicality, and bridging is one of the things we need to become aware of as beings occupying a body in the physical dimension. And the other crucial thing that we also experience because we're on Earth, we're in the physical dimension, is time. And it's so much a part of most cultures that we're kind of like the fish and the water, or earth animals and air with time. It's a reality, right? I mean, it ticks along, but that's man-made. That isn't spiritually made. I don't know about you, but my thought about time is there's never enough. Or else there's too much, right? Either or. There's not enough time to do what you want to do, or time never goes by fast enough if you're not engaged. And we've experienced both of those. Time is kind of stressful when you think of it. What's actually good about time? What's actually helpful about time? The stress of knowing how long it's going to take you to get from one point to another. Is that ever fun? For me, it's almost always a stress. Something happens along the way that I wasn't expecting. And I thought I left plenty of time, but hey, am I going to get there on time? On time. Ooh. There are deadlines. That's a function of time. I got to get it done by tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., even if it means I stay up all night doing it, whatever it is. There's a deadline. There are appointments. Stressful. You don't get to do what you wanted to do that day. You gotta make it to a certain place at a certain time, ready to do whatever they need you to do. Right? Time. Time affects our physical experience because molecules sometimes need renewal to work the way that we want them to work. And they don't necessarily as we, quote, get older. Age is a matter of time. And when we're very young, we can't wait for the time to pass quickly enough so we can become real people. We can become grown-ups when we'll have all the power in the world. Right. And then when we're grown-ups, we pass our 30th birthday, our 35th, our 40th, our 45th, our 50th. We're counting, we're noticing, we're thinking, oh my God, how much time do I have left? Time. And it never occurs to us that, hey, time isn't going to be with us anywhere outside the physical world. When we leave the earth, we leave time behind. We only experience it when we are here in bodies. Then there are the past, where all these injuries and traumas and accidents have happened to us. And everything that happens to us in the moment until we learn that we're just making up stories. Everything that happens to us, we find a reason, which means it's not us, right? I wouldn't do that to myself. There's always somebody else out there or something else out there that has it in for us, that wants us to be injured. And so how do we respond to that thought, to that fairy tale, to that story that we make up? We get angry, we get resentful, we become afraid. We live from those feelings that are arising from the explanation that we provided for ourselves about what actually happened. And our stories are fairy tales. You know, what somebody did to you back when you were 4 years old, you made up a story about it. You made up the story about yourself. You and me too. We made up the story, oh, nobody can ever love me. Because that's how we interpret neglect or abandonment or injury. They don't love me. Nobody can love me. It's my problem. Because we're focused on ourselves. And those stories that we make up, they solve our need for the moment to think that we have some control, that we know what is happening and why. Sorry, but we don't. We just don't. And I mean, last Sunday was a wonderful example of we have no control over what's going to happen when, or what has happened. And it wasn't our fault. It just happened, whatever it did. We can feel embarrassed, I did. We can feel annoyed, I did. We can feel vulnerable, I did. And then I realized, hey, wait a minute. It just happened. It was an experience that we shared. Did it end up being a good experience or a hurtful experience? I don't know about you, but for me, it turned out to be an incredible, wonderful experience of love and caring and community. You guys were amazing. And all the people, the ambulance drivers, the nurses, the doctors, everybody was wonderful. It was an experience of pure love. Yeah, so I got some bruises that I can still feel, but what are a few bruises? They too are not permanent. I heal. I am healing. I am so grateful that bodies heal. That too is a good experience, that gratitude. That's one of the best ways to turn our attention out of physical pain and into spiritual oneness, beauty, perfection, goodness. Oh. Just think of all the things in this moment that you're grateful for, right after whatever happened. You know what about time is wonderful? Our brains are wired so they can only think about one thing at a time. And that we have some control over. What is my brain thinking about right now? Is that making me happy or giving me, as the Yiddish language says, sodas, trouble? Do I want the trouble? Or would I rather be joyful? I have a solution for that. I can start thinking of, wow, I'm grateful I didn't break anything. Really and truly. I'm grateful I didn't get a concussion because I had a goose egg on my head. I did hit the wall. But, wow, it was a miracle what happened. I am so grateful. And by shifting my mind, my attention, my focus into the spiritual dimension that is always as available to me as the physical awareness is, I can help to myself to experience anything as a good experience. Because I ask you, have you ever had something happen to you that was awful, that didn't eventually at some point turn out to be a gift? I mean, people tell me about all kinds of terrible things they've experienced, and how that experience helped them to shift their awareness, to claim a better outcome, to see a whole new possibility for themselves, to develop new friendships. Many career changes come from horrible things. You know, I remember at one point being fired, not because of anything, well, I had demonstrated with the African American students in the university, didn't like that. So they had a budget crunch and they let 12 faculty members go. And guess what? Those, all of the 12 were the people who had assisted in the African American demonstrations. Okay, I was mad. I was so mad at them. That wasn't fair. No, it wasn't. But you know what? And when I thought about it, I thought, I'm glad I did that. I stood up for what I really believe. And that felt really good. And it didn't turn out to be the dire, horrible thing that it could have been, because another university heard that that had happened and offered me a job teaching there for more money. I said, yes, thank you. How did that go? How did that happen? I don't know. It's pretty much the same thing as when I go to, start out driving to a place that is always parked up, and I envision the space that I want right in front of the building. And when I get there, the space is always there. You know that, yes. The parking angels, you got the parking angels down cold. Good. It works. It's crazy, it's stupid, but it works. How does it work? I have no idea. I do know that if I forgot to invoke the parking angel before I leave, no spaces. So I don't know how that works, but it does. It's something about spiritual energy. And coming back to time. So knowing that, okay, time is going to go away. When I leave this body, no more time, no more worries, no more age, no more deadlines, no more apologies, no more shame about missing anything. Gone, disappeared. And then there's the other part of time, right? The future. All those horrible movies that tell us what's going to happen in the near future and how dysfunctional it's going to be, dystopian. They present it as reality. And if we go to those kind of movies, but even if we don't, we're aware that those ideas are circulating. And knowing what we do now about time, I need to end. Knowing what we do now about time, we can just say, okay, that doesn't exist either. And I can tell you that I have been, in my past, a championship warrior. You know, I could worry about anything and make up 10 disasters in an hour and suffer. And then whoever I was worried about would come back, safe and sound, always. Right? All the big stories that I put all that energy into making up and suffering from, they never happened. Even when I'm in a country where a disaster happens and my relatives call me up and say, "Are you okay?" Yes, every single time. My experience, even being there, even running out of the house for the earthquake, it's basically been okay. You know, it's been a reasonably good experience. So we tend to make up disasters, human minds, and we can let go of that when we become aware that, okay, we're visitors here, and we don't need to worry about time. So for just a minute, let's together go to the peace that's always inside us. And know that that place inside is in the spiritual dimension. It is not subject to matter or time. The moment we turn within into that peaceful self that we truly are, we're free from all the physical constraints. We know that they are not in control of us as we are. They may affect our body, but our body is one with our mind and our spirit, and with all that is. And so I invite you just for a moment to feel that safety, that freedom, that goodness, that peacefulness. And know that we can find that in every moment when we decide to, and feel our gratitude for the way that we are made. And this meditation is outside of time in its experiencing. So, in the physical, it's too short. But in the spiritual and truth, there's no such thing. And I invite you to, when it's comfortable, even though in the physical we spent too little time meditating, we accept that. We know it's all right. And we are able to come back into our bodies filled with joy and wiggle our toes and gently open our eyes and look around and smile. And so it is. Time got me.